camera.
Yes.
Okay, I feel like that camera's on you.
It's wide enough, but it should be on me.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. I am joking. Okay, so what I usually do, I do like a breathing exercise.
Okay.
Before I get started.
Okay.
And what I do is I usually just kind of close my eyes. And if you want to do this with me, you can. And it kind of clears your mind. It takes the nervousness away, even though we know that you're not nervous about anything.
No.
Right. That's what makes me sick about you. But I just like stop for a minute and I just like, right. There you go. You feel it, don't you?
Yeah, I feel like we're setting our intentions.
Right. Oh, that's good. She said she feels like we're setting our intention.
Yep.
And that's one of the things I talk about, being intentional,
Yes.
focused, unapologetic, and on purpose.
You know I like that.
I know.
You know I like that.
Right. Okay, guys. So listen, I would love to welcome you to our second episode of the season, Step Up 2024. I was about to make a mistake, 2024. So can you believe we are already here in 2024? The last time we spoke, you had the opportunity to listen to my intro to my new year and relaunching the Step Up podcast. And I have to tell you, I'm super excited. Not only that I'm excited about, I'm excited to have a dear friend that I've known for years. And I'm gonna let her tell you the story about how we met and why we became so close and what she was doing and what she's doing now, which is absolutely amazing. So, Sonya, my friend.
Dr. Harley.
Yes, ma'am. Just call me Keith. Please introduce yourself. Tell them who you are, what you do now, and then tell them how we went and we started all this, our relationship, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And just be organic and raw.
Okay.
Because she's so raw that you're going to find this entertaining.
Organic and raw. Okay.
Organic and raw.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm Sonya Irby, and I think this is the first time I'm going to say this out loud. I'm an entrepreneur.
Oh, now, very interesting.
Yes.
Let me just say this. Last week when I recorded my podcast for the new episode, the new season, I said I'm an author. Mm-hmm. And it was so surreal at that very moment.
Yep.
So what does it feel like to say now you're an entrepreneur?
It feels, if I'm honest, it feels a little inauthentic because I have worked my entire life in corporate America. So it doesn't seem real to say I'm an entrepreneur, I have a business, I own a company, I'm launching a company, I should say. I'm launching a company. So it hasn't sunk in because I have literally worked in corporate America all my life.
So what do you think is going to transition you from being working for someone to help them fulfill their dreams, and now you're switching it to working for you to help you fulfill your own?
I have to embrace uncertainty. That's what I came up with for this year. One of the themes for this year is embrace uncertainty because, as you alluded to, I have pivoted over the last 3-4 months, basically, leaving corporate America after a long career in hospitality and other big name companies, and decided that I was going to pivot and do something that I really, really loved. And in looking for that, one of the things that I've always wanted to do was own a travel company.
Now, see, as many years, how long have we known each other?
Ooh.
When did you move to D.C.?
2010.
And then you started coming to me like a year after that.
If that long.
Right. And so all of this time, you have always wanted a travel company, but you just never...
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say all this time. In the beginning, I just loved to travel.
Okay.
And then as I learned more about the industry, I realized that doing it for a living was a thing. I don't even think I thought about, I could actually do this for a living. Wow. Although I was doing it, planning other people's, meetings and events and finding them places, but I was doing it for somebody else. I was not doing it for myself. And I never really thought about that until later.
So what you've done is turn your passion into profit.
Yes. Yes. I like making travel dreams a reality because that's what I've done for myself. I've made my own travel dreams a reality.
Okay, so let's go back. We're going to get into that.
Oh, we got to go back to how we met, though.
Yes. I was about to say, you giving them the juiciness already.
We got to go back. So, 2010, I moved back to D.C. from Dallas, and of course, a girl got to get her hair done.
Yes, yes.
So I had been looking around, researching, and I didn't even know what the word trichologist meant, right? I had to ask somebody, like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? So I ended up like finding you on the web or somehow.
Yep.
And started coming to you to get my hair done in D.C. And we just as you always do with your stylist, you talk while they're doing your hair. And we just started talking. We kept talking. And we just really built a friendship over I moved back here in 2016. So we built a friendship over that time. And I was always talking to you about being intentional about planning your vacation because you worked all the time.
And you used to talk to my staff about it.
Same with your staff.
I can't even think of his name right now.
I know.
He was one of my best employees, and he was so great to work with. And he just called me the other day. But we'll figure out that name in a minute.
Yes.
But you would talk to me, and you would talk to the team, and you always said, plan now. As long as you plan in advance, it would be affordable, and you would have no other choice but to do it because you planned.
You had already planned it. You had already spent the money for it. And that is a good thing. If you plan and start paying for it or saving for it, then it'll be paid for by the time you get ready to go.
See, everybody doesn't. And let me just ask you a question. So let's finish the part about how we met. So when Sonya was coming to me, I didn't want to be her friend. It was not the intent. But because we clicked so well, we became friends. And she's I always want you all to remember something. There is a difference between relatives and family. You can't choose your relatives, but you can choose your family. And so she became a friend, and then she became family. And then after she became family, she came in one day and said, well, guess what? I'm moving. I said, what?
Dallas.
She's moving to Dallas. And so, we had a goodbye party.
Yep, we did.
And we went to the party she had, the gathering. And then the next week she was gone. And I was like, oh.
Was that when you were supposed to be teaching us how to do a smoky eye?
Yeah. So let me tell you about that. I knew she'd bring that up. So she said, why don't you come over and you teach everybody how to do a smoky eye in their makeup? Well, I'll let her tell you.
Yes. So that was what was supposed to happen. He was supposed to come over. A group of my girlfriends came over. We're going to do like smoky eye. He's going to teach everyone how to do smoky eye. Like 3 hours later, we are in a spiritual healing session, and no one had their makeup done. To this day, nobody. I struggle with the smoky eye to this day because of him.
Listen, I knew that was my calling to do what I'm doing now, and I guess the makeup outweighed what my passion was.
Yes, but I've always known that was your passion. Even though you were behind the chair, we always talked about doing
life-changing experiences.
Yeah, but you always supported other people. So now it's your turn.
Ooh, you know what? Maybe you should be doing this. I was just saying before we started recording that she needs to have her own podcast because if you knew her story, and I'm not sure, she'll tell you what she wants you to hear. But if you knew this woman's story, you will see why she's such and has an impact on people and who she is as a woman, who she is as a businesswoman, and then who she is as a friend. And if you have that opportunity, because she doesn't let people in. If you ever heard of the statement, guard your circle of influence, she doesn't let people in like that. You got to do the work to be in her personal space.
Yes, in the inner court.
In the inner court. Tell them about that. Why is that so?
I think everybody should have a board of directors, though. I think everybody should curate a group of people, a group of friends or advisors who can advise you in every aspect of your life, personal, business, financial. I think you should have that group of people. But you should also have people around you that just make you feel good. And when I say make you feel good in your spirit and your soul, it's not a strain to be around them. with them. You actually want to spend time with them. So I have many, many friends, associates, acquaintances, people that I've known and built relationships over years and years and years. But there is a inner circle of people who I trust with my life.
And let me ask you about that. Why? Okay, you are so particular about who's around and what value they bring to the relationship. And you're very particular about your word. That's one of the things I've learned from you. If you say you're going to do something,
I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it.
Or there's going to be a really good reason why I didn't do it. But
exactly.
if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Come high, hell, whatever.
Yes.
It's going to get done.
Yeah, because my word, I've committed, so I got to do it. But I would say you mentioned knowing what they bring to the relationship. It's a two-way street, though. What can I bring to the relationship? So a lot of times I see people, I meet people, and I see something in them that I want to help them bring out, or I want to help them develop. So a lot of times it's about what value I can bring to the relationship as well. But it is a two-way street.
What is it from your past that made you become who you are today?
I think the need to define the narrative. I grew up in a really small town and where everybody knew everybody and everybody knew everybody's business. And so if you really wanted to be somebody and to do something, first you had to get out of the town.
Right,
get out of the town first.
That's always the case.
You got to get out of the small town first.
That's right.
But then, I just learned over a period of time to control the narrative. And then I think early on I didn't know what that meant, but that's really controlling my brand. That's really protecting my brand and who I am and what I built. So you spend.
Where does that come from, though, Sonya?
I don't know. I've spent time in therapy, trying to explore it.
Y'all know that getting therapy is like having a Gucci purse.
It is these days. Trying to figure out where does that come from? That need to define the narrative and to guard the brand that you built.
Was it anything in your childhood that made you say, okay, as I become an adult, this is what will not happen, and this is what will happen? Yeah, which is what created who you are.
I think it was childhood experiences. I can't pinpoint one, but I think over a course of my childhood, there were things that made me realize I always wanted more. I always wanted bigger. I always wanted to get out and see what else was going on in the world. And I think college really, when I started meeting people from other different places around the world, I realized there was this whole big world out there. And when you live in a small town, there's a lot of you can't, you shouldn't, you don't. No one has ever. I was the first person in my family to go to college.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So no one ever.
See, I never knew that.
Yeah, I was the first and only person in my family who ever went to college. So from that point, I continued to define what my personal brand was without even knowing that term. That term didn't come up until.
And you know what's interesting? A lot of people don't know that you have a personal brand. People don't know that they have a personal brand.
Right, they don't.
And that's how people perceive you.
Even when you're not in the room.
Ooh, she's not dropping nuggets. She's dropping boulders today. Okay, so as we're getting to know who you are and where you're from, the other thing that I love about you, you have a way of organizing and bringing people together to get the job done. You know how to delegate. You know how to make sure that people are, they stay true to their word and they're accountable for what it is that they committed to do. You're a natural born leader. And so what is it that you see in people or you see in yourself to become task oriented? But you also make sure the tasks that are being done is in alignment with the goal, with what it is that you want to accomplish.
What you're trying to do. I think I can see talent in people that sometimes they don't see in themselves. And same with me. People have seen things in me that I didn't see. So being a natural born leader was not something that I always saw in myself. I didn't always see that in me. But then if I look back now and I think about my earliest memory of being a leader was, I don't know, man, I was probably maybe 11. And I was, my girlfriend Mary and I laugh about this, I was president of the state Sunbeam Band
The state sunbeam.
Sunbeam Band. Not just the state, a whole state of Alabama. The state Sunbeam Band. So that was my first memory of like leading something. Now I don't know what I was leading.
I was going to ask, but I didn't.
I don't know what I was leading, but I have a little picture with the 2 ponytails and the whole thing was in the newspaper.
Can you send me that picture so I can share it?
I will.
You gonna let me share it?
I will.
Okay, go ahead.
That's my first memory of being a leader, and from that point on, it was always good grades, involved in things in school, and then when I got in the workforce, it was leading the committee, being on the task force. All those things that you step up and say, hey, I'll do it. I'll take it. I'll lead it. And so I think over a period of time, I realized that I was always looking for a talent that was tangible. Like I don't sing, I don't act, I don't dance. But being a leader is a skill. It is a talent.
Yes, it is.
It is a talent. Yes, and I had to accept that that's what I'm good at, leading things.
Wow.
Pulling things together, pulling people together. Assessing what talents we need and what talents we have to get that job done.
That's insane. Okay. We can go on and on.
I know. We're supposed to be talking about
travel. Okay. And by the way, guys, the gentleman that I was talking about who worked with me, who became like a son-like figure to me, was Kareemus.
Yes, Kareemus.
And he worked with me for quite some time. I love him. I miss him. I just talked to him the other day. But one of the things I loved about when Kareemus worked with me, he always received education from my clients. And Sonya was one of them. She got him into wanting to travel and to see the world. And then when she would have those conversations with him as she was receiving her treatments and over at the shampoo bowl, I would be doing a client and listening to the conversations that she would have with Kareemus. And I said, oh. And this is one of the reasons why I decided to bring her on the show, because I'm realizing that we don't know how to see the world. We think about it, we want to do it, but we either don't know how, or we're walking in fear because we think it's either not affordable or it's not obtainable, or we just can't conceptualize something different than our present situation. And so Sonya is going to talk to you today about seeing the world and what that takes and how you can accomplish that goal. And I'm learning something too, because I'm trying to do better about this. So Sonya, talk to them like you talk to Kareemus, the basics of what we need to do and where we need to go and how we need to make that happen.
Yeah. Before I do that, when was the last time you went on vacation?
Oh, God, she going to call me out.
I'm just saying.
The last time I went on vacation was about a month and a half ago. I went to, you didn't even know this, I needed to take a break and I went to San Francisco.
I remember you going to San Francisco. Yes. But like a real vacation.
It's been a while. I haven't been.
You went on that cruise when I went.
Last the cruise and Dominican Republic, and then I went on that cruise with Royal Caribbean.
Yes, that was the last time you've been on a vacation.
A real vacation.
Yeah. So first of all, you gotta have inspiration. I think you have to have inspiration. Early on, I found inspiration just because of the nature of my job, because I worked in the hospitality industry and I got introduced through my job, different places to go and stay and vacation. But later in life, I mean, right now we have social media, you have magazines, you have TV shows, you have things like this, you have YouTube. Right. So first of all, you got to find inspiration. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? The sky is the limit. Really, you got to just think about it. You might not be able to jump out the gate and go to Europe day one, but what if you could go to New York, and then it's a 6-hour flight from there the next time you go on vacation?
Why do you think people don't do it or think they can't do it?
They think it is expensive, and sometimes I think people just don't know. How do you book an international flight?
Right.
Or I remember the first time I had to fly outside the country for work. I didn't even know how to book an international flight.
So how do you book an international flight?
Well, you call a travel advisor.
Okay.
You call a travel advisor, and you can book it yourself, but you should have somebody that can help you or guide you or advise you if you want that. But a lot of people are into DIY; they're going to do it themselves, and that's fine. So that's where the inspiration comes from. So use something for inspiration first. I use TikTok, I use Instagram, something to just really get your juices flowing. You may see something and say, "Man, I would really like to do that one day." And then you look at, well, how much would it cost to do that? So I say, get information. How much would it cost? Some people don't go because you don't even know how much that would cost. You just assume that going to Europe is expensive. You just assume that going to Mexico is going to cost a lot. And so find out how much it will cost.
And let's be clear. Listen to this, guys, because this is very important. It plays a major factor in when you book your trip, because the closer if you do it at the last minute, it costs more. Isn't that correct?
Right. So a rule of thumb, international, 6 months to a year. I say a year. When I plan international trips, I try to plan at least a year in advance. And then domestically, anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Because we know that airfare is expensive these days. Hotels, basically travel has returned post-pandemic. We have already exceeded 2019 levels.
Yeah.
So travel is back and people are traveling.
So planning ahead and sticking to the plan, which also allows you to make payments.
Yes.
Let's talk about that, because you do understand, guys, you don't have to pay one lump sum for the whole trip when you book it. A lot of people don't understand it. Explain that.
Yeah. So you have to find a group or an agency or a way that offers payment plan if you want to pay in cash along the way. Most travel advisors can give you direction on how to plan and pay in advance. And if you want to save in advance, that's an option too. If you want to put aside, we get our hair done, we get our nails done, we get our guys, you get your haircuts. So just like you have money for that, then set aside a travel fund so that you have the money.
Set aside a travel. That's just almost like what we used to do. What we used to do at those Christmas clubs.
Yeah, like a Christmas club, but for travel.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yep, for travel.
So let me ask you a question. Let me put you on the spot. Would you plan a trip? Okay, so we got all of our viewers watching, and we've got all our listeners watching to the podcast, which is on Spotify, which is on Apple, mind you.
Yes.
Which is on Amazon, mind you.
I love it.
Which is on Heart Radio, mind you. So we're all over the world. If we got together, you and I planned, well, we already have a conference that's coming up in August, the Step Up Conference, which is on Royal Caribbean. But that is a conference, right?
Yep, that's a conference.
What if we spoke with you about creating an international trip? Where should we go first? Should it be like London, Paris, Rome, Italy, France, Spain? Where should we go first?
Sky's the limit. But I think if you are going to Europe for the first time, it should probably be a destination that's easy to navigate and that speaks English, so that you don't have to worry about that.
Because they will embarrass you if you don't speak their language.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would say London is a good entree to Europe. And from there, you can take the train to other places. But I think London is a good start because it's a city. It's a metropolitan, if you will, or urban type city. Similarities to the layout of a U.S. city, right? It's walkable. There's great public transportation. There's a variety of different levels of hotel. There's history. There's shopping. There's all the things that you would want to do. And you don't have to, you can stop and ask for directions. You can get lost in the city. So I think London, and depending on where you are, if you're on the East Coast, it's about a 6-hour flight.
Got it.
So it's a little bit further than going to San Francisco, or, it's even shorter than going to Hawaii from the East Coast.
So if we worked on this, all right, listeners, viewers, if we worked on this now, when do we plan this trip for?
I'm going to say 2025.
Okay,
you
perfect.
Say before then?
Let me think. Today it's January.
January.
So if they wanted to go somewhere for the holidays.
For
Christmas.
Christmas?
Yeah.
For a group trip during Christmas? I don't know, because that could be kind of expensive.
Or next January.
Yeah, it could be next January. Like a year kickoff.
New year, new travel. Okay. So if you could put a group trip together. Of course, that means you have to go.
Yes.
Okay. And you picked a country that we go to, or if you do London, Paris, or whatever. And my listeners and my followers, we're going to get them. I'm going to put together a way that they can like have a sheet, a savings sheet for travel, a savings sheet for shopping and dining.
Like on this trip?
Yes.
I would just say save for the trip.
But you know how some people need to like they need to put a certain amount aside. So they're like planning it out. You know, they have this envelope.
Yep.
And they put this certain amount of money in that envelope per month.
Yeah.
So we'll make a game out of it, basically.
I like it.
You like it?
I like it.
Now, let me tell you how truthfully honest she is. She would have told me no if she didn't like it. She'd be like, no, child, that's just trifling. No.
No.
But she would tell you. Okay. So just think about that.
Okay.
And whatever we need to do.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, great. We'll call it the step up something or the other. We'll figure it out. But aside from that, tell us what information you have for us today that's going on in the travel industry that will benefit us for the future. What's going on now?
So it's some exciting things going on.
Okay.
A couple of trends, tips I wanted to talk about today. So we were talking about people not knowing how to travel or whether or not they can travel.
Right.
Well, one of the easiest ways to travel is at someone else's expense. So if you're fortunate enough to work a place that you travel for work, that's how I saw the world, at someone else's expense, because I traveled for the company. And so you can tack on a couple of days before or after. Just make sure you know what your company's policy is about what you need to pay for versus what they're paying for. But that would be one easy way. And there's all these hacks that you can do to maximize your PTO. So you may get 17 days. That's about the average, 17 days PTO. But depending on how the holidays fall, you can get up to like 50 days off just using your vacation time around these holidays and around your business travel. So either the term is bleisure, blending business and leisure. So
I'm bleisure.
Bleisure.
Yep. Okay. Blending business and leisure.
Yep. So and also remote work is still a thing.
Yes.
And nomad travel, just working from anywhere is still a thing. So if you have a job that allows you to work from anywhere, I say work from anywhere.
Okay.
You just have to know how to manage your time.
And what do you call that? Is there a name for that?
It's nomadic travel or something like that. I don't know the exact term. I think I might have it.
Okay.
But yeah, you can just work from anywhere. Actually, it is called digital nomadism.
Digital nomadism.
Yes.
Did I say it right?
You did.
Digital nomadism. Because I can mess up a word. I'm just saying. I don't even know why I got into this podcast stuff because I be messing up some stuff.
Well, that's what makes it fun.
Right.
Digital nomadism is another one. And then set jetting.
Set jetting.
Set jetting is going to locations where there may be a movie or a TV show filmed. So like White Lotus in Italy. A lot of this came out of also going for concerts and sporting events and tours, things like that. So like the Renaissance tour, that's set jetting. Like I'm going where that is happening.
How did you like the Renaissance tour?
I saw the movie, but I didn't actually see the concert.
How'd you like the movie?
The movie was really good.
It was like you were in the concert.
It was kind of
I still gotta go. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I would say that's one. If there's a favorite TV show, and I like looking at TV and seeing places like, been there.
Yeah.
So set jetting is one, and then destination dupes. So if you think
destination dupes,
right? If you can't afford the most expensive or the place that might be during peak season is really expensive, then what's a dupe, right? So for example, if you can't go to Lisbon in Portugal, then go to Porto. Smaller, but you still get the feeling of being in Portugal.
Right.
If you can't go to Barcelona, Mallorca. Smaller. Any of the islands on Greece, it doesn't have to be Athens or Mykonos or Santorini. There are other smaller islands in Greece. And I don't want people to think we don't have things right here in the United States that you can go see, right? There is so much here to see and do here in the United States as well.
Yeah, but there's the world to see.
The There's the world.
And that's what I'm guilty at my age. It's like I really feel like I could have done more.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons why I kind of got out of the business. I mean, even you were mad at me when I said I wasn't doing hair. You were like, who gonna do my hair?
You won't even bump a curl.
I don't even have a curling iron no more.
He doesn't.
Sonya, it's so crazy. There was a client of mine who came to town. She called me and she said, oh, Keith, I need you to come to the hotel and curl my hair. I said, Katrina, I don't do hair anymore.
He does not.
And she said, well, I'll buy a curl now. I said, Katrina, I don't do hair. I did it for 35 years. Mm-hmm. That's done.
And did not travel.
And did not travel. Didn't go nowhere. Didn't do anything because I was so consumed with my career. Okay, what's next? What's next for you?
So we talked about destination dupes. We talked about jet setting. Health and wellness tourism is another.
Like spas
and yoga retreats. Actually, I saw this online, and I'm going to figure out how to do it either there or have someone do it here. But it was a sound bath meditation.
A sound bath meditation.
Floating in a pool.
Floating in a pool. So you're in the pool
on a air inflatable mattress or inflatable something raft, and they're doing the sound bath on the side of the pool. Wow. And it was somewhere in Palm Desert. It was a hotel.
How do you find this? Well, don't tell us because I'm already going to have an assignment for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So I mean, these health and wellness experiences there are a lot of people are doing retreats now. Dry tripping is another thing since it's dry January. If you are partaking in dry January, then there are more and more hotels and restaurants that are providing mocktails and things that you could still have a social time but not drink alcohol. Wow. So dry tripping.
Okay. Is a dry tripping. That sounds like something I could call somebody.
I know.
Go ahead. You dry tripping. Trifling stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah. So so those are just some of the ways that you can get out there and travel and not spend a whole lot of money. But
okay, why are people scared of getting a passport?
I don't know.
Or a visa?
I think they think they won't need it.
Really?
Yeah, and I think you should have it because it's a second form of ID in case you lose your driver's license. You can fly with the passport even in the United States. But it's also your passport to the world. I mean, there are people who would love to have a U.S. passport. It gets you entry into places that you otherwise couldn't get in without a visa.
You know what's so interesting? My friend Gloria, she travels the world, and her and her husband. And when I was younger, as I've known her over like maybe 20 years, I used to watch her travel all the time. And it was so easy. Listen to what I'm about to say because this is huge. It was so easy to watch her travel the world, and I didn't have to do it. I could just live vicariously through you.
Did you not have a desire to do it, though?
I had a desire, but I just didn't think I could do it because I was always told I couldn't.
Right, because some people don't have a desire. Some people could live the rest of their life and never leave the United States.
Well, some people are scared to get on a plane.
Right, and that's okay.
But I noticed when I was scared to get on a plane, but I noticed the more I flew, the easier it got.
Yeah.
I noticed that it was easier to watch you all live this incredible life, but it was easier to watch it.
Right.
And that's why I talk about all the time about being a professional hand clapper. We're always easy to watch other people do what you think you can't do.
Right.
Because that's much easier.
Yeah, and now I am a proponent of solo travel. I will travel alone, but some people
that's
are also some people are also afraid to go alone. They're waiting for that group of people that are going to say, "Come on, let's go."
Right.
So imagine if you're not a planner, you're not going to advance the trip. You're not going to be the one in the group saying, "Hey, let's go to so and so." So you're waiting for someone else to do it. And if you're surrounded with a group of people who are not like that, you may never go while you're waiting on that group trip to get out of the group chat.
Wow.
So you have to take the initiative to either get with people. So there are also travel companies out there that plan trips in advance, and you just go with a group of people you don't know.
Wow.
There's some places I've seen with people that I didn't even know. I've been on a yacht in Croatia with 26 people that I didn't even know.
Do you all hear how that sounds? I've been on a yacht in Croatia. I didn't even know these people, but I was on the yacht.
I know it sounds bougie, but I saw it. I saw it on the Instagram.
Let's just be clear. Don't say sound. You are bougie.
Is that bougie? No.
You are bougie. And all our friends tell you that.
I have a taste for the finer things in life. Yes.
Did you all?
But
did you hear that?
I do.
But that's okay.
But
it's okay
bad.
no. Why does it sound bad?
I don't know. Some people might take that the wrong way.
But no. But you've made a decision that you have a taste for finer things in life because you've worked for it.
True. I have worked for it.
And so you said, if I want these things, I have to do the work to do it. Let's just say something real quick. I'm going to give them a cliffhanger. Okay? Because we're almost out of time. I'm going to give them a cliffhanger. We got some more
tips. Okay.
Okay. Oh, you do have some more tips.
Well,
go ahead.
Tips, not trends, but tips.
Okay, tips. Go ahead.
Okay. So one thing I'm going to say, plan and be flexible. We talked about
plan
that.
And be flexible.
You definitely have to plan and to be flexible. Embrace travel insurance. I know it's a little bit extra, but in these days and times with the weather being the way that it is, with travel being the way that it is, you want to be, you could have a little more extra protection, especially if you're going outside the country. If your flight gets canceled, you get delayed, you got to spend the night somewhere in a country you don't even know anything about.
Right.
So I would definitely say make sure that you embrace getting travel insurance.
That's a good one because I didn't think about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, it depends on the trip. I don't always buy it, but I do buy it for like big trips. And then I would also say, get your passport. If you don't have a passport, get your passport. If you go outside of the United States more than twice a year, global entry. So you don't have
Some
to
people
stand in
don't even
line.
know what global entry is.
So global entry gets you back into the United States faster.
Just in case they got to try to keep you.
Yeah, yes. As long and whenever I'm out of the country, I always need to know that I can get back into the United States.
Absolutely.
So you want global entry so you don't have to stand in line at customs, really and truly.
And then you don't want to be doing something you ain't got no business doing, like that guy that went over to China or Korea and stole a poster.
Yeah, I will say that is another. Be able to embrace the culture that you're going to. That's why you're going, is to learn about another culture, how they live, their way of life, what kind of food they eat. And don't expect it to be like the U.S. experience. If you go to Paris, don't expect them to bring you your check right away. They're going to let you leisurely dine, and you may have to ask for your check. I mean, the first time I went, I felt like, are we being ignored? But that is their culture. So don't expect the same level of service that we get. Don't expect the same. Don't expect the American experience, because you want to be sometimes outside of your comfort zone, sometimes outside of your culture, so that you can learn about other cultures.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So, and above all, be safe. You do want to be safe, because we are Americans traveling abroad. So, and not just traveling abroad, but traveling in our own country too. You just want to be safe, be aware of your surroundings, and make sure that you have a plan in case you need to get back home or get out of a country immediately.
Okay. So a couple of questions, a couple of things I would like for you to do. I would like you to come back on a regular basis to talk about travel and talk about some of the things that you have coming that people may need to do, because you're going to get reports of different trips and events of that nature. The second thing I want to do is I want you on your social media platform. Have you now taking on that to talk about your trips and things that are coming and different things of that nature on your social media platform?
On my personal, yes.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. So people can follow you?
Yes.
Okay. And where would they follow you?
So on Instagram, it is Lux Travel Diva.
Lux Travel Diva.
It's LUXTVLDIVA.
Okay.
And on TikTok, it's Ms. Lux Travel, MSLUXTRAVEL.
And are you now offering tips on your social media platforms?
I have not been. I've just, like you said, let people live vicariously through my trips.
Okay.
But I can offer travel tips.
As your family member.
Yes.
Do you think maybe weekly, if we follow you, you could give us tips, opportunities, and things that we can, like if you find that there's a good place to go right now, can you start loading that stuff up on your social media where you give us a report,
why
a travel
does it sound
report?
like an assignment?
Because you would do the same thing to me.
I told you I'm launching.
You always tell me what to do.
I know. Okay. All right. I can start doing that.
You like a weekly report where you come on?
Weekly. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Weekly.
And maybe live.
Okay.
And let us ask you questions and see
Okay.
what's going on in their travel
You
world.
mean come on social media live?
Absolutely.
Weekly.
Weekly.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
If you're listening to this, you can see our faces.
Okay, you can
She
see
is
my
going
face.
to
I'm
whoop
like,
my
oh my
tail. She might be calling me and say, Keith, cut that out. Are y'all editing? Cut that out.
I ask ahead of time. Are we editing?
Now,
today?
I wanted
Yeah.
this to be so organic
Yeah.
because that's how she and I roll.
Yeah.
Um,
But can I say one quick thing? I think it's good though, because I've been saying to a couple of friends of mine that I feel like people are propelling me into this travel space, and I have not been going willingly. Because yes, I know it, I lived it, I've breathed it, I love it, but to do it for other people is
It's a switch.
It's a switch.
Yep.
It's definitely a switch.
Yep.
And so people have been propelling me into the space, and so that's why I said I need to embrace the uncertainty.
Right. I'm going to give you what you give me because that's how we roll. And I think there's a need and a niche for what you're offering. And I think we need to support you in this process. So I think the social media platform should be great. I think you putting yourself out there, letting us see you and talk to you will be great. And then here's the other part. This is the other reason why I want you to come back. You are able to do what you're able to do because of your choices. And not many people are able or know that they can do that. You put yourself in a position for who you are today, where you are today, and the decisions. You did not put the decisions you had to make in other people's hands.
Right. I control the narrative.
You control the narrative. And not many people, 99.9%, can't do that.
Right.
Or don't know that they can, or don't know how to do
Don't
it.
know how to do it.
And you as a woman who is very independent, you're not married yet, right
Ooh,
now.
I like that you said yet.
I got you, boo. I got you, boo. You're not married yet, and you are in a position to where you are independent, self-sufficient, and you control the narrative of your life financially, mentally, physically, all of those things that
Right.
people don't know how to do or know that they cannot do. And I think it's important you as a woman that you're living your best life
Yes.
by choice. By choice.
It's a choice.
They need to know that they can do the same thing. And I think you would be a great voice to come and talk about that.
Well, thank you.
And I think we'll call that show Controlling the Narrative.
Controlling the narrative. I like it. I like it.
Let me tell you, if she didn't like it,
I would tell him I didn't like
and
it.
she would embarrass me in front of all you people.
Like he just did me.
Right, right. But this is good. Sonya, I love you. And I want to tell you publicly, you are family.
Yes.
And you hold me to the fire. You let me say things that I would never say to anybody else. I call you when things are tough and when they're hard. And you always give me great advice and loving advice and the hard truth when I don't want to hear what it is. So I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful for your friends that have welcomed me into the group.
Yes, they have accepted you.
Yes, they have. They look at me cross-eyed sometimes. They be like, what you doing? Because her friends, they hold each other accountable. And they want to know what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Tell them again how they can reach out to you.
So on Instagram, it is Lux Travel Diva, LuxTVLDiva. And on TikTok, it is Ms. Lux Travel.
And what is the name of your company again?
Formation Luxury Travel.
Formation Luxury Travel. Guys, I hope you all have enjoyed this. She will be back for part 2. Get ready because it'll be raw. She's going to spank you and you're not even going to know it. This is your host, Keith Harley of the Step Up Show podcast. This is our second episode in our new season, our second season. Guys, we got some great guests coming. We got some great stuff happening. Check out my girl, Sonya. She'll be back real soon. Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
Bye-bye now. Hey guys, thank you for watching. This is a Bullhar Media production. Have a fantastic day.